Hi, I'm Tyler Peterson. I teach the frequency of leadership, and this is the February alignment where I share skills and practices to help leaders raise their frequency and unlock their full power. So welcome. This month's theme is moving from judgment to acceptance. And this is a really critical aspect of frequency and raising our frequency. You know, when we're in judgment of something, it tends to be something we don't like, something we don't enjoy, something we want to move away from. Well, the problem is that the way frequency works is that when we're in judgment of something, we're actually feeding it our energy. We're sustaining the experience of that frequency in our life. So it's kind of ironic that the thing we want to move away from, we're actually sustaining because of our judgment. So how do we break this cycle? How do we break this loop? Well, there's one and only one way, and that's to move into acceptance. When we do that, when we truly move into acceptance of something, we transform it. It is no longer an issue in our life. It's no longer a frequency we're sustaining. So acceptance here is the key. Now, there are two aspects to the way our experience works here. We have a human mind and we have a divine mind. The human mind is the aspect of ourselves that we're all so familiar with. This is the part that sees things differentiated, sees things as good or bad or right or wrong. It's evaluative. We're constantly doing this, almost, for the most part, unconsciously, right? In these circles and spiritual circles and in circles of people who are endeavoring to improve themselves in some way, we talk about having practices. Well, this is a practice we all have, and we have it for the most part unconsciously, and that's being in judgment. So this is what our human mind does. It's also important to note that the way frequency works is that it's a reflection. Our world around us, our experiences, is a reflection of our own frequency. So we hold a frequency, it's broadcast out into the world, draws back to us like frequency. That's how we create our experiences. So when we're in judgment of something external to us, comes into our experience and we judge it, we have to be cognizant and aware that that's happening because there's some part of ourselves, some aspect of ourselves that has that same frequency. We're in resonance. Otherwise, it wouldn't show up in our experience. So it's not about this external thing. That external thing is just a mirror helping us come into greater self-awareness of some frequency, some belief we have about ourselves that we think isn't worthy, that we don't enjoy. So maybe I experience somebody and I judge them to be disrespectful. When I sit and I think about it, when I really reflect, I start to understand that, maybe that's behavior that I wouldn't support. Maybe they mistreated somebody and they were being disrespectful. That was the judgment I had. So then I have to ask myself, that energy I'm feeling, that emotion I'm feeling, that means I have that frequency too. So how am I being disrespectful in my life? Maybe it's, how am I lacking respect for myself? How am I disappointed or unhappy with the way I've been treating myself? So that's the shared frequency. Maybe there's some belief I have that's leading to that behavior. And when I see this in somebody else, it reminds me of that within myself. The frequency begins to resonate and arise in my experience, so I become aware of it. So in a sense, these people around us these circumstances are really a gift helping us to understand all the ways in which we're not worthy, we're not loving ourselves. We've deemed some aspect of ourselves not to be worthy. And that's a real gift, that awareness. There's a gentleman I know of, Alex Collier, who has a mentor that said to him once, "The love we withhold is the pain we carry from lifetime to lifetime." And I remember when I first heard that quote, it just blew me out of the water. There's a deep, profound truth to that all the ways in which we're unable to love ourselves, all the ways in which we deem some aspect of ourselves to be unworthy, that's pain. And we sustain that, we carry that throughout our experience until we finally decide to move into acceptance and to love ourselves, to see ourselves all these different aspects of ourselves as worthy. And that can arise through some external circumstance, somebody we see and we judge them, which helps us to understand, well, this is really something happening inside of me. Or it could originate originally from within us. Maybe we're unhappy with our diet or our lack of exercise or some behavior in our life or some circumstance. That immediately already is some unhappiness we have with an aspect of ourselves, some part of ourselves that's not worthy, that we're deeming as not worthy, or that we're unwilling to love. So this is how it all works. Now, that's the human mind. That's what's happening all the time. We have this unconscious practice, all of us, of judgment. So we also have this divine aspect of ourselves, the divine mind. And from that perspective, there's no judgment. Everything is an expression of source. Everything is an exploration of frequency. Nothing is invalid. Nothing is unworthy. Everything is loved. We all have this part of our being, this aspect of ourselves, our higher self, our true nature, our infinite awareness. There's so many names for it. Pick your name. It is what we are more fundamentally than this human self. So we have to start moving into that divine aspect of ourselves to help us see these things we're in judgment of differently so we can move into acceptance of them. And one quick note I just want to say out loud here is, just because it's important that we see other people as divine beings, but it doesn't mean that we support bad behavior or that we endorse frequency that they're creating. We can see somebody and acknowledge them as an aspect of source just like us, an expression of the divine, having an experience of itself. We can love them for that, but that doesn't mean that we support any action that might be creating pain or any frequency that are holding that is creating things that we wouldn't want for ourselves. So we can separate those two things. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear about that. It doesn't mean we're lending our energy to the things they're creating. But we can recognize their behavior as a valid exploration of source or a valid exploration of frequency. So that's judgment. How do we move into acceptance? Well, we need a new practice. We need a practice of noticing judgment, first of all. Whenever it's just this becoming more aware of it in our lives. And it just takes time and a little bit of practice, but we start by noticing it. And to change anything in our life, once we notice it, we first have to accept this is what's happening. Like, we can no longer deny what we're feeling. We can no longer deny that we're unhappy about something and we've created judgment because of that. So we first have to acknowledge it without judgment and just relax. Don't push it away. Just allow it to be. And this helps, or what's very helpful is to move into our heart center when we're doing this. Breathe, ground, move into your heart center, bring to mind something beautiful that puts a smile on your face. This helps us shift into that divine aspect of ourselves. And then bring to mind the thing we're judging. Be present with it, relax, allow it to be, and see if you can start to find a way to appreciate it for being just what it is. Maybe you need to do a little inquiry. Like, why am I judging this thing? What frequency am I holding? What belief do I have about myself that's leading me to create this judgment? What's really happening there? This is a moment to tap into and align with your inner wisdom. We have this infinite source of wisdom within each of us, and it will guide us and help us to understand why we've been in judgment. It may just bring a realization to our mind that, or to our awareness that our human mind doesn't even quite understand, but somehow it helps us shift into just allowing this other thing to be, moving into acceptance of it. And that's enough. Our human mind doesn't always have to understand what's happening or why for us to change our frequency. We can have these realizations that help us shift into greater acceptance. So that's really the how-to, is just to slow down, take a moment, breathe, ground, heart center, move into the divine mind, and then bring to mind the thing we're judging. Allow it to be. It doesn't have to be anything different than what it is. Don't push it away. See if you can find some way to appreciate it, to just allow it. And when this happens, you neutralize that charge you had. The judgment dissolves away. This is energy. This is frequency. It just transmutes and moves on, and it's no longer part of your experience. So that's how to move from judgment to acceptance. And again, this is vitally important because we want to create the things we deliberately want to create in our life, those things we want to intentionally experience. And we want to put our frequency and our energy into that, rather than our frequency and energy into the things that we're judging, which we then sustain the experience of those things. And generally, they're unpleasant. They're things we don't want in our lives. 2 quick tips before we shift over to the alignment when you're doing this. The first is, if you're feeling anything other than complete peace and at ease with something, then it's a sign there's more there for you to process. There's more judgment there for you to maybe understand or to allow to be, and to shift from being in judgment to acceptance. So that's really an important thing to remember. If you're not feeling anything other than 100% at peace, then it's an indication there's more work there to be done. The other thing is, if you're having difficulty releasing judgment in one particular area in your life or one particular circumstance, it's frequency. And frequency, a single frequency we're holding, can show up in a multitude of ways in our lives. So if you're trying to resolve judgment in this one particular way, but it's just not happening, it's just not working, take a step back and see if you can find how that frequency, that underlying frequency, is present in a different aspect of your life. And then go work there to resolve and change the frequency. If you change it once in any aspect of your life, it diminishes or goes away in all aspects of your life. So just because you're not making progress here, that's fine. Just pull back, look around, see where you can find that same frequency manifesting somewhere else in your life, and focus your efforts to move into acceptance there. That can be really helpful. Okay, so that's the teaching portion of the alignment for this month. I hope that's helpful for you. Please share your comments with me. How are you experiencing judgment of yourself or others in your life? How have you started to notice this where you were unaware of it before? What do you do to move into acceptance? What are some of your practices to release and to allow it to be, and to move on with your life, to create the things you want to create? How have you been successful? How has it been challenging for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Please share those below in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing or sharing it. Also, you can sign up for my newsletter at thefrequencyofleadership.com. You'll receive updates with free resources like this on a regular basis that help support you to raise your frequency, to step more fully into your power and begin creating the life you want, a life you love deliberately and intentionally. This is our right. This is our ability. There is no one with their hand on the faucet at the ready to turn off joy in your life. It is here for us to create and to experience. It can be our lived experience all throughout our days. We just have to raise our frequency. This is stepping into our power. If you've seen these videos before, this next portion, we're going to move into the alignment. I'm going to offer a few brief instructions. Feel free to skip through this portion, or sometimes it's useful to hear the instructions again. You might hear something different or new. So for those of you who are new to this alignment, first of all, thank you for being here, and a few brief instructions to help you get the most out of this. In this next portion, I'll channel energies. I call them alignment energies. What they do is they come in and they help you to raise your frequency. They're intelligent. They read your frequency right now. They understand what would be of the greatest service to you, and they support you to release things that need to be released. They support you to elevate your frequency and have that experience. So during this alignment, you may experience things physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. You might have old memories arise. You might have certain emotions arise. You may feel energy in and around your body, moving, doing different things. Most people just have a very pleasant, calm, peaceful experience in addition to any of those other experiences. And then sometimes people don't experience anything mentally, emotionally, physically, or energetically. They're just calm and peaceful. It's just a pleasant experience, and that might be your experience as well. But rest assured, the energies are present, they are working, they are delivering, and being of highest service to you and your evolution and growth in raising your frequency. So the way we'll go about this is I'll lead us into a lightly guided meditation. And about a minute or two into that, I will say, I'm opening to the channel. And from that point going forward, I won't speak at all. My role is complete. It's really just to help you become relaxed and open to these energies. Once I open to the channel, the energies come through and begin working with you directly. My role is to kind of just step back and out of the way. They're doing the work, not me. So you can just enjoy that portion of it. On your side of things, there's really not a lot you have to do or need to do. It's really about being relaxed, being present, and being open to receive these energies. So that's all you need to do. However you're able to do that, that best suits you, go for it. You can sit up, you can lay down, you can meditate if you'd like to. You don't have to meditate. It's really just about having a clear, open, and receptive mind. So with that, let's move into the alignment. So before I get started, I just want to ask for your permission to do this alignment. And if I have your permission, please say yes out loud or yes quietly to yourself. Okay, wonderful. So I'll just invite you to close your eyes. And let's just bring our awareness to our breathing. Breathing in through our nose and a longer, slower exhale out through our mouth. And just doing that one or two more times, and then settling into your own rhythm, own relaxed rhythm of breathing. And now let's establish our grounding. So just intending and feeling that connection between ourselves and earth. You can feel it physically, your feet touching the ground. You might feel it, sense it energetically in your feet, the base of your spine, your body. You may have no experience of it. That's fine. Just know you are connected and grounded, and energy is flowing back and forth between you and earth. And now let's move into our heart centers. Just rest your awareness in your heart center. And some of us can do this just by intending it. And sometimes we need a little support getting there. So if that's the case, bring to mind an image of something beautiful, some wild place in nature that you love being. An image of an animal, a wild animal, a baby animal. Anything really that's natural and helps bring a smile to your face. This brings us into our heart center. And now let's just set one intention, and that intention is to be present and to be open and receptive to all that is for your highest good. So I encourage you to say that out loud. I am present and I am open and receptive to receive all that is for my highest good. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to open to the channel and start my timer. I'll be in silence and I'll call us back in about 15 minutes when it's done. So here we go. Okay. That's the end of the alignment. Just in your own time, in your own way, I invite you to come back, return to the room, return to your presence. If you're in a good place, if you're really enjoying this experience, feel free to tune my voice out and just continue riding with this frequency. For everyone else, I thank you. I hope this video, this topic, this alignment are of the greatest support to you in your life in helping you to raise your frequency and create a life you love. All right, that's it for this month. Be well and take care.